to learn some Python basics. But actually, we will finish almost anything about Python. I mean, the language itself. So after this course, you should be familiar with this language, and especially if you have previous coding experience, you should be able to finish most of the questions. For example, the ones on LeetCode and those things, just using Python. So we talk about the environment Conda and the last week, and we also showed how can we use Conda environment in the command line. But actually, of course, nobody will just, I mean, coding in the command line is not a very good way. So this week, I will show you how we can use the environment very simply just using in the VS Code, and also I think other editors like some I'm not sure if you know the Cursor or those the very like latest AI-based softwares. You can just simply use it directly. So what assume I install a virtual environment called COIC 5806 last week, and just using the command like includes all the packages like pandas, numpy, and like scikit-learn. That's all those packages we need for this course. And you can see this is I will show you later on VS Code. Basically, once it's created, and we can just directly choose this environment in the editor, and you can see I have many three other environments installed. I can just choose the one I want to use, and that's it. I don't need to do conda activate or those command things. So once we choose the correct Python we use, we can just do script. And this is a very, I think, I guess everyone is familiar with, right? Yeah, in Python, if we want to print something, we just print, and that's it. It will just be directly print onto the screen. And here, I use double quotation mark for a string, I mean, hello world. But actually in Python, there's no difference between double quotation mark or single quotation mark. So you can just as long as, I mean, you can just use whatever you want. And, you know, if in Java, a character, you need to use single quotation mark, and string is double quotation mark. But for Python, it's just the same. And also for data types, it's similar to all the other languages. For example, we have integers, we have floating point and string, and also for other language like Python, like Java, we need to declare a variable and then use it. But in Python, we can actually directly use it. I want to use a variable I to store value 1. I just directly use it, and I can use I in the future. Also, similarly, for a string, I can just directly assign this variable to a specific value. But of course, if I use I assign two value to S1, S2, I didn't say anything about S3. So if I just do some kind of manipulations, this is incorrect because it is not defined. That's yeah. And also, like string concatenation is actually very common like operations. And in Python, we can just using the plus sign to concatenate two strings. And also for comments, we just using the this number. It's hashtag, yeah. So, and also for functions, Python has some like built-in functions, and they are built-in using this called package. Every time we want to use a package, we can import it at the very beginning, or not at the very beginning. Usually people will do it at the beginning of the script, but of course you can just import whenever you want to use it. And so once it's imported, I can just use it directly. For example, this one compute the square root of 4, and this one just compute the power of 2. 2 to the power of 3. And there are some documentations online. So basically, well, as once you want to use some functions, just search on Google and it will tell you like sine, cosine, all those mathematical functions. And of course, we can define our own functions. For example, the grammar is like this. I mean, we don't need curly brace and just need to use blank space to make sure this is like all the operations is within this function. And also, typically we will have input parameters for a function. And in other language, usually if the input is an integer or if a string, you have to specifically define it in the bracket. But in Python, we can just simply use a variable to mean this function take this specific input. You can see here, it can be a integer or it can be a string. It doesn't matter. Python will just take care of that for us. So this function basically just print out a line and also print out this variable a based on the input. And yeah. Oh, by the way, even if this function need to return some value, we don't need to specifically set like in Java we need to say int this method or something void. We don't need to say that about in Python. So yeah, we can also, for strings, we can just using this multiply sign to just concatenate three strings together. Another thing in Python, in coding languages, this Boolean variable. Python is very similar to other languages, just true, false, and also I'll just make sure this true is a capital T, and I know in other languages sometimes in Java it's just a lower case letter. So and also in Python the operate. Instead we know that for this kind of operation sometimes we have we have other symbols. For example, the AND symbol and the OR symbol, like on the keyboard. But in Python, we can also just using the AND or English to represent these kind of operations, and also not as well. Of course, these other operation symbols are okay. And since we have the Boolean variables, we can do conditional expression, and the format is similar to other language, except for if else, we can just use elif. Yeah, it's easier. And also there's no curly brace, so just using blank space to tell the program that these two are under the else condition. Similarly, we can put if statement under a else statement, just using the blank space to make sure the program knows which of them are together. So for here, this example, just because y is 10, right? So it just goes all the way to the else statement and print y. Yeah, that's similar here. X is 1 is not equal to 5. So X value will be print out. Also, we have loops in Python, and just using the similar format, using the colon to start the loop. But the thing is, Python doesn't provide a do while loop. I know many other languages have this function. But Python doesn't have this. Of course, we can coding. Coding like a way we can specifically do something and then create the while loop. But yeah, there is no do while loop. But do while loop, like sometimes you have to. You want to make sure this operation at least once. Yeah, of course. Yes, you can. Yeah, I think that's why they don't create a do while loop for Python. They think that's not necessary. Yeah. So I mean, break and continue are still available and similar to all the other languages. And the for loop is like, I mean, the format is like this. This is very typical like for loop. And the range 10 actually just create a list from 0 to 9. So for this for loop, we will just print out all the values from I mean from 0 to 9. And so another very important thing about coding language is string operations. In Python, string is treated as a similar to a list array. We can just using indexes from 0 to length -1 to access all the characters in a string. And we can also use for loop to actually this one for something in this thing is very common use in Python. So we don't need to, of course, we can use for I equal, I mean, in range, length, animals, something. But this one will just iterate all the element, I mean, all the character in the string and do the print function for us. And also we can use the index and the colon to specifically do some slice operation and just get a piece of strings from entire strings. But there's one issue. I mean, although this string in Python is very similar to array, but I mean, we will talk about list later. We cannot directly change character in a string like this. I mean, if animal is a list like ABs, it contains like 5 characters. We can definitely change it, but for if it's just a string, we cannot do it. So we will talk about later in this slide, like how, I mean, for this kind of situation, how can we change a specific character? So like other language, Python offers this kind of method, I mean, functions to convert a string to lowercase letter or uppercases. And also we can find a substring in a string. -1 means it's not found in the string, and 1 means it's there. Also, yeah, this one is actually very commonly used in like this text manipulation. Sometimes you just want to search something in a string, you know, in a file, you can just locate it like this. So we talk about string and we have list here. List is an array, like it has a bunch of things and just put everything in a bracket. And the difference is this. For example, if it's in Java, if you specifically define an array of integers, you can only put integers in that. But in Python, you can put anything in that. It could be a string, could be an integer, could also be an array. I mean, sorry, could also be a list. So whatever thing you want to put it, can just put it. Actually, because list in Python is more like a linked list. Like so, yeah, it's a we will talk about later. It's like a reference base, and so you don't it doesn't matter what kind of element is within that list. This two line, I mean, is similar. It's just create an empty list. Once we create a list, we can using the indexes to get the element from the list. We can also use len to compute the length of the list. Also, this is similar to the string. We can just using in to identify if a string, if an element is within that list. And also here, using for loop to just using this kind of iterator way to print out everything in the list. And also, yeah, this one is very commonly used method for list. Append will append one element at the end of the list, and if this, assuming this X is another list, and you just want to concat them together, you have to use this one method extend. Yeah, this is very common. Like for example, I want to find out some students with like a third-year student from the database and append it to a new list. I can just using this way. And also sort, it's very simple. Just the .sort will just sort the list for you. And actually they use the implementation is quick sort, and so it's very fast. In most times, you don't need to specifically write a sorting algorithm. Just use a original one. It's much better. Remove will remove the first element from the list, and pop will remove the last element from the list. Yeah. So back to our previous question, how we can change this specific character in a string. The way is we can first convert this string into a list, and then we can do the changing thing. And we can change whatever character in that list. And after that, we can use this method join to convert string back to list. I'm sorry, convert a list back to a string. This way we can change the element in the string. So yeah, this is Python actually for sort. There are two ways. One is dot sort, and the other way is sorted. So sorted wouldn't change the list itself. So we can see after sorted, of course, this one will sort the list, but if I print out the numbers, it still remains the same. Sometimes we don't want to change the original array, original list. So this is a very commonly used way. So list comprehension, this one, I'm not sure, but I guess at least the most typical language doesn't have this operation. Actually, this is very special feature of Python. We can using a loop way to create a list. So for example, we create a new list for x, this means I will create a new list using this x if x in the fruits is not in apple. For example, I have a list called fruits. I have all the other kind of fruits. And as long as that element is not equal to apple, I will put it into this new list. So this way, you can see we have to use a for loop here to achieve this kind of operation. Of course, we can just say like a for x in fruit, if x not equals to apple, new list dot append x, locate every element and put it into this for example, a blank list. But they are the same. But this way, if we do it using this list comprehension, it will be much quicker in the when it runs. This is like Python has this inherent when it's designed, this if you write something like this, it's optimized, and so it will do it quicker. We will also later in a tutorial we will have a question actually if you're using the original way for loop everything, you might need 5 or 6 lines to finish that question. But if you're using list comprehension, just 1 line will give you the correct answer. Yeah, it's just faster and or succinct for your script. So another function, method I want to talk about is the split. This one actually I use it a lot in my study because I need to treat it. Deal with those biological data. Most of them are saved in TSV or CSV files, like the patient's record, like their age, and they are just separated either by a blank space or separated by a comma. So this split will just change a string into a list. And so usually, for example, I split it into a array. I can check for example, maybe the first column means the patient's age. I can just using this way to extract the age of all the patients. We will talk about later in the pandas chapter. Basically, when we for data frames, usually they are just a file separated by comma or a tab. So you need to read it and split and create it. Change all the file into a matrix and then do some operations. I mentioned earlier, list in Python is more like a linked list, and it's like a reference type. So which means if I just directly assign a list to another variable, so I changed something in this new list, we also change the element in the original list, because they are actually basically two variables point to the same memory on our computer. So if I want to create a new list, I mean, independent list that doesn't affect the original list, so I can use this method called copy. This way we'll just create a new one. You can see now I change the third element from this SCP, and this one is changed to new, but the original list doesn't be affected. So I think this is the last thing, specific features about Python. One is called dictionaries, and the other one is tuples. So dictionary is just a way. I think in Java we also have similar like functionalities. It's just a way to link two things, and it's like a table, so we can search it directly. And tuple is similar to a list, except is once it's created, it cannot be changed. So to initialize a dictionary, we can use this way, like initialize empty dictionary. So either a Colibris or just dict. And once that's created, we can just put everything into this dictionary. And the thing in the bracket is called key, and this is a value. So like each value has this corresponding key. So we can, for example, I can put my name in a system. I have pin and which is my name, and I can also, for example, age. My age will be put into the database. So this way, just make two things connect to each other. And of course, the key can be anything. Can be integer, can be string. So as for tuple, you can see it's very similar to the list, except we don't use bracket now. We use this parenthesis. And once this thing is created, and we cannot change it anymore, we can access like a tuple 0 will give us jack, but we cannot change a tuple like from change jack to other any things. It's fast because I mean it's memory efficient, and it can also be used as a key for dictionary. I mean list cannot be used as a dictionary key. It's also safer, like because we cannot change it. So for in a multi-thread environment, it's safer. And also a very commonly used way especially in like some deep learning projects, is we can pack multiple values into a tuple and make them into like a single variable. For example, I have some names of person and their scores. I can use for name score in zip. I use this zip way. We will just put all the lists together and make them into a tuple. And this way, so basically every element in names and every element in scores are corresponding, I mean, are linked to each other. So we can just access them and do some kind of operations. This is very common. Like sometimes you want to, for example, concatenate an index with something kind of data. You can do like for I and name in zip range 10 something. You can like then link 0 to 10 to a bunch of data set, make sure that they are operated in a specific manner. Finally, this might be very helpful for you. Like sometimes you want to check how many times each, like maybe a for loop will take you. And there are actually many ways to do this. This way is the one I like. It's very simple, just time package. You just like each time you call this function, you record the corresponding time, and then you will put one at the beginning, put one at the end, and minus these two values will give you the running time for the specific piece of code in your script. And just remember this is in seconds, and sometimes you can just convert it into minutes. Okay, any questions about this? Sorry? Tuple, yeah, it's immutable. You cannot change it. Yeah. Let me, I might be too fast about those things, so let me just show you a demo. I mean, show all the things we just discussed so you can understand that more clearly. Yeah, like I said, I created that 506. I mean, first we can basically search Python. There, for example, this one, yeah, all the things Python debugger, you can just install this extension, these extensions to make sure that VS Code can just better help you with coding. After that, once that's installed, you can see there is a search kernel here. I can just search all the Python environments I created. For example, this one, COSE 506. Let's see. But like the first time you run this, you might this one will pop up because we need a IPython kernel package to run like the Jupyter Notebook. So can just click install, it will install us. Okay, that's done. Let's see. Yeah, print will just print out something for us. And assign a variable, we will assign a variable for us. And if we want to check the variable, I can just directly show the results here. And also these are two strings, and we can print out the value. And also this one, it's not correct because S3 is not defined. But of course, we can do concatenation and print out S string. So let's assuming we want to also put a blank space to separate these two strings, we can do it like this. This way, there's a blank space after in between them. And we can import the math package, and we can do all the math calculations for us. Let's see, 9 divided by 3. And also this is will give us a function, and we just using function name, we will just call the function for us. And also, yeah, this is the other example. We can actually change this to maybe 9. Yeah, if you the first one will print out 9 for us. Second one print out word. Yeah, and yeah, we can also do this kind of string operations, just multiply it by 3 and give us 3 characters. I'm sorry, 3 strings concatenate together. And this one is one of the Boolean operation. We can also do it like this. Oh. Is this one? Oh. Oh, that's here. Oh, I usually thought it's like this, but yeah, this is actually I will have searched it. I think there's a way. Maybe the grammar is not correct, but I should be able to use this character. I will search it later, and yeah. And also, yeah, this is a if-else statement. And let's see if this is what. Yeah, then nothing shows up because none of the statements condition is met. Also, the while loop, we can do. Oh, I forgot to mention. So this one is equals to y equals to y plus 1. So this is, I think C language also has this operation. Yeah. So, oh, shit. Yeah, I just created an infinite loop. So, yeah. Oh, oh yeah. Y is not here. Okay. Anyway, so this is because y's value is already changed, so it's a very large number. So I have to, yeah, this is also about like a Jupyter Notebook. I mean, the value, although it's not defined here, but it's as long as computed, the value is within the memory. So if we want to use it again, we have to specifically, yeah, now it's correct. I just assign a correct value, it will stop there. And also the for loop here for I enrich. So I think another way is I think yeah, if I want to just use this specific range, actually this is the start, this is the end, and without it, I mean the loop doesn't count the other number. So yeah, this is also another way. And if I want to instead of each time increase 1, I want to increase 3, I can do it like this. You can see 5, 8, 11. So each time the step is increased by 3. And this is the string thing. So we can print out the characters in a string like this. And also do a slice. Like, yeah, this one we just gave the third character G. And actually, if we want to get for example, yeah, I want to get all the character without the first one. I can actually start from, this is here. I can start from the first one. I mean, so the first, I mean second, right? So, and just leave all the other things blank, and we'll just output the characters for us. This one is not correct because that's a string. We cannot do it like this. But we have all these functions, upper, lower, and find to find out the substring from a string. And also this one to find out the character in a string. This is a list example. So there are so many, I created this kind of list, and also we can just print out the values for us. For example, if I want the third one, I mean the fourth one, give us London. So and also, yeah, London is not in cities. Yeah, this one is because it has to be exactly matched. So this London is small, I mean lowercase letter, so it cannot be located. And also, a for loop can just traverse all the element in a list. This is a sorted example. This is a split example. So yeah, this is a copy thing. So we have the first this is the original list, and we change change the second element into new. So these two are the same. But if we use dot copy, the new string, change your value in the new string won't affect the original list. That's actually, yeah, that's all about the things we learn. I mean, actually all the things about Python. I found these 2 questions and for everyone to practice. So the first question is the one I said, like, if we use list comprehensive, we can actually using one line to solve this question. But of course, you can just sort it using a few lines. So the second one, I think everyone is familiar with selection sort.